Cabin in the motherfucking woods. Dude, I'm so happy when I saw my poll that I posted on my YouTube channel that you guys decided to pick Cabin in the Woods as the lead for the video you wanted me to see next, because I love all those movies and I'm kind of surprised that Terrifier 2 was the least voted on. What the f, guys? But besides that, I'm very happy because I was really in the mood to rewatch Cabin in the Woods and I have a blast with this movie, so I'm so hyped to talk about it because it's spooky season. And fun fact, the first time I saw this movie, I actually didn't like it. And if we actually back up even further, when I saw this trailer, when this first movie was announced and everything, and they were marketing the shit out of it, I was so hyped, bro. Like, this was one of my most anticipated movies of that year because the trailer was so goddamn good. It had an intriguing plot, there was some scary elements, there was also some humor that fit into the scary stuff, so I thought it was really cool. And I think that when I saw it the first time, I didn't expect what I saw, essentially. I was not very familiar with the whole meta genre at the time. You know, I know a lot of people love Scream. I was never a huge fan of Scream, but I think it's my Scream. Hot take! But like I said, the first time I watched it, I was too young to understand what they were going for. But then I rewatched it in the University of Florida, drunk as f, and I had a blast with it. And I truly appreciated what they were actually going for. And now it's one of the movies I rewatch the most often. I can't believe Joss Whedon is a part of this, like writing. You know, Joss Whedon gets a lot of shit because he wrote, you know, the shitty Justice League movie. But before that, he's had some bangers, bro. I mean, he was part of Avengers. He was part of this movie, Alien Resurrection, which I know a lot of people hate. And I'm going to defend that movie one day. One day that video will come. But let's not waste any more time. Let's jump straight into it. So the opening's a little bit strange. This is why I didn't like it when I was there. I was like, what the f is happening? It's like these two office workers and they're just having this like normal casual conversation, and this girl comes out of nowhere and she's like, oh my gosh guys, like Stockholm went south,
and she's like, it's between us and Japan now, and they're like, it's been like that before,
and the guy's like, Japan has a perfect record, and she's like,
guys, if we fail, and they're like,
please, we've had a glitch in 98. So like, they're talking gibberish at this point. If you haven't seen the movie, this is your first time watching it, you're like, what the f are they talking about? And that's the same kind of thing because the vibe is not a scary movie vibe, so you're kind of like thrown off, but it'll make a lot more sense later. And then they drive away in this, what the f is it? It's like a golf cart without like the top half. He's like, you want to come over on Monday night? The guy's like totally not listening to him. He's like, are you even listening to me? Cabin in the Woods! In retrospect, you pick up the nuances and you're like, oh, that's actually a pretty cool intro. But the first time watching that, I was like, that's a terrible, what the f, what a letdown. But the following intro, the intro of the characters of this movie, chef's kiss. Oh, I love this scene. Well, this is gonna reveal a lot about myself, but funny enough, even though I hated watching it the first time and then I rewatched it like 10, 11 years after, because I saw this in like the movie theaters, but when I was in college, it must have been like over a decade after I've seen it, one of the very few scenes that I remember, because there's like 2 or 3 scenes that I really vividly remember from this movie, is this opening shot when the camera pans up to the window and you just see like, dude, this hot ass redhead in her just underwear. I was a teenage boy, what can I say? I remember that shot like shot for shot, like over a decade later. She's hot. I know the blonde girl comes in later in the scene and she's like supposed to be the hot one too, and by no means she is sexy too. They're both hot, right? It's like 1A or 1B, but like that redhead is so bad. She's so bad. So we find out that she was actually sleeping with her teacher, which is wild. And then Thor comes into the bit, like, dude, Thor's in this movie. Dude, I remember seeing, like, this was before Chris Hemsworth was Chris Hemsworth. Like, oh, that was so cool to watch. But he throws a football, he goes out the window, and we get introduced to one of the other characters. And it kind of seems like they're trying to set up the redhead with this, like, light-skinned dude. Like, it seems that's what the friends are trying to do. Because she even tells her friend, like, if you treat this as a setup, like, I'm not gonna have a good time. But Chris Hemsworth at first, like, right, he acts like the jock, right? He's throwing the football, he's really buff, he's good looking. But then he's all of a sudden is like an intellectual. He grabs a book, he's like, you don't need to read this. He covers this in his lectures. Read this one instead, it's much more intellectual. Like, what the f are you saying, bruh? And then my favorite character! Dude, this guy's he's so good! Dude, this guy comes in so clutch in this scene, driving smoky weed. Even when I didn't like the movie the first time, I still like this character the first time around because, dude, this character is, how do I explain this? I grew up on Scooby-Doo, okay? I love Shaggy. Shaggy's a legendary character. Bro, and I'll argue anyone on this earth, this motherfucker is Shaggy. He is Shaggy. He's the perfect Shaggy, dude. We all know that Matthew Lillard is amazing, and I love Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, but if anyone that should have played Shaggy and never got the chance to, man, this motherfucker right here, I don't know his name, but dude, he's amazing. Because the joke on Shaggy is that he is a pothead. And look at his bong, bro. He has the most legend. It's a coffee bong, and it gets better after this. But bro, this motherfucker, bro, I gotta do a celebratory thing. I don't know if I can do this on YouTube. Let's take a drink for my alcoholic friends. Cheers. But dude, I'm not done talking about this character's intro because it's so legendary. It's so good, and it ages like a fine wine. Because he gets out and dude's like, you're not bringing that into the RV, and he's like, what, a bong? And then just instantly collapses it into like a coffee mug, and you're just like, that is the coolest bong ever. I need that. Bro, I need me one of these. That is clutch. That comes in handy, bro.
And that's it.
And the hot blonde girl's just like, that's not safe. And then he's like, statistical fact? He said statistical fact. Cops will never pull over a man with a huge bong in his car. Why? They fear this man. As he's saying all of this, bro, he like closes his car. The window is open. He locks his car and then checks. He checks if the door is locked. The window is open. As he's trying to pull off this badass character that like he's, which by the way he kind of is. But dude, I just noticed that detail like the 5th time I watched this movie. This is like the 5th or 6th time I've seen this movie, and I just noticed that. Have you guys ever noticed that? Dude, he leaves the window open as he locks the car. What? And I love this scene as they walk towards the RV, bro. The guy just nonchalantly says, hey man, to the guy, like just like he's a celebrity, just like completely passes him by. I don't know, I just love that, like, hey man. So confident. But as they leave with the RV, the camera pans upwards to the roof, and then you see this like agent, and then he starts talking to his earpiece. So you're like, oh my god, like they're being watched or studied or something. Then we cut back to them on the RV where they're like, this place is not worthy of global positioning because it doesn't show up on the GPS. And the stoner dude gets into his like conspiracy mode.
It's like the whole point is to get off the grid.
So no one can globally position my ass. And the hot blonde girl is just like, is society crumbling? I used to love your rants. And as a stoner, I love his rebuttal. He's just like, holds up a joint. He's like, you'll come to see things my way. So they arrive at this gas station, and I think this is like supposed to be like a reference to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Nobody's around. One of them goes inside, and he gets spooked by the owner, who's this like old redneck dude who's creepy looking. And he's like, the sign says close. And he's like, we're just looking for some gas. And Chris Hemsworth's like, does this pump work? And then he's like, you know how to work it? They cut to Chris Hemsworth's face, and he's just like, he doesn't say anything, but you can see his mouth just lips like, what? It's so funny. And then Daphne comes in. She's just like, we're also looking for like Tillerman Road. And he's like, Tillerman Road takes you up the hill. And Chris Hemsworth's like, you know, my cousin bought a house up there. Like, how do we get there? And he's all like, there's always someone looking to sell that plot. And Daphne's like, you knew the owners? And he's like, I've been here since the war. I've seen people come and go. And they're like, what war? He's like, you know damn well which war. And Shaggy's just like, which one? The one with like the blue coats and the gray coats? It's like, you sassy boy. It's like, you were mean to my friend. I love how Shaggy's the one that's standing up for Daphne right now. Like, then he calls her I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but you know what? The WHORE word. Chris Hemsworth finally steps up. Then the other dude's like, we got enough gas, throws the cash to the guy, and they drive away. Where was this shot? Like, it's such a vibe. Like, the mountains are beautiful, the trees, I love it. I want to go there. So they enter this tunnel, and you see this like eagle flying by, and then all of a sudden the eagle runs into this like force field type dome. It's like the Truman, if you've seen the Truman Show, that's a great movie. It's very similar, because then you see like the RV on the other side. So they enter this like dome, and then they finally reach the cabin in the woods, which looks like shit. And this is obviously playing off like the Evil Dead movies. And everyone starts checking out their rooms, and this guy sees like this very disturbing painting on the wall, so he takes it off, and then he notices that it's like an interrogation room type window where it's like you can see the other side, but the other side can't see you. And this hot redhead starts taking off her clothes. I love this scene because it's like that internal debate, like, oh, and I love how like they showed that he does kind of take a second to look at it, and then he becomes a decent man. He's like, okay, yo, stop. So he reveals it to everyone to let everyone know. And Chris Hemsworth like, we should check all the rooms because we know Marty wants to see us pounding away. And he's like, I don't even like hearing that. And I'm like, yeah, dude, no one wants to see that. Like, good for you, but like, nah. And then they end up deciding to switch rooms. And she's like, I'm glad you're not a creep. And he even acknowledges, like, he's like, I had an internal debate. See, my man. But he's trying to flirt with her, and then she's like, oh, you should probably go see her. She's she's like a pre-med, and he kind of just kills the whole vibe. And then he starts taking off his clothes like, you not slick, bro. You not slick. I see what you're doing here. Because he's in hella good shape. So he's trying to show off, and then she's like, oh my gosh, and puts the painting back up. But also it's too scary, so she puts like a blanket over it. And then we come back to like the office workers who are like behind this whole thing. Like they're observing them. It's like they're staging the entire thing. And obviously looking back on this is such a cool premise to go with and everything. But like at the first time I saw this, like I was like, what is happening? This is so weird. I've seen nothing like this. And that was a negative at the time, whereas now this is a positive for the movie. And like the gas station dude calls them and he has it on speakerphone and he has no idea until like
he's like talking all creepy and stuff, and then they're like,
am I on speakerphone? And he's like, no, you're not. He's like, I'm on speakerphone. I can hear the echo. She's like, okay, I'll take you off. It doesn't take him off. And then he continues talking dark and creepy and mysterious. And then he's like, I'm still on speakerphone. Oh, dude. And then it's like, oh, I love this scene. It's not like a big moment, but it's just the vibes of it. I'm going to take a drink to this, guys. Where are my alcoholics? Cheers, mate. Cheers. It's such Friday the 13th vibes. It's such summer vibes. I've never been, I mean, I've been to a lake and shit, but like I've never been on like one of these adventures like these movies portray, where you're just like with a bunch of friends on a trip in a cabin in the woods, and there's this pristine lake right next door that nobody other, no tourists around. And then we come back to the office workers who are all like betting, and everyone's entering into this like bet, and you're just like, wait, hold on a minute. This whole thing is almost like a show. Everyone's betting on it, so obviously they don't control the outcome, because if they're betting on it, they don't control the outcome. And then this guy, the security guard, actually brings this up to light. So he's like, how can you bet if you know the outcome? He's like, we don't know the outcome. We just kind of like direct them in certain directions and put them in the scenarios, but they have to make the choices themselves. And the guy's like, we rig the game as much as we need to, but in the end, they don't transgress, they can't be punished. And then we come back to them having a party in the cabin in the woods. Let's get this party started! And they start dancing. Shaggy smoking weed. They're
Drinking, hey, cheers! Ah, it's a great movie!
So they're all playing truth or dare, and then Shaggy dares Daphne to go make out with the moose, and everyone's like, have you seen a moose? Like, that's clearly a wolf, bruh. And he's like, bruh, I'm smoking weed, bruh, chill. But she's like, no problem, and she starts acting super sexy, doing this like sexy walk, getting towards the wolf. And I feel like this entire scene is a reference to the Friday the 13th remake. I think it was in 2009, which by the way is my favorite Friday the 13th movie. Hot take. And she ends up straight up French kissing this wolf, and even Chris Hemsworth's like, oh, everyone's like, God. And then they start clapping, and she's like, then they go over to Dana, the hot redhead, and then Chris Hemsworth's like, truth, I'm just gonna skip ahead because like she's not gonna pick dare. So she picks dare because she got pressured into it. And then like the cellar door pops open mysteriously, and this is obviously a reference to Evil Dead. Chris Hemsworth's like, the wind must have blown it open. Shaggy, I love Shaggy in this movie. Shaggy's my idol. But he's like, what kind of sense does that make? But it's super scary, so nobody wants to go down there, so they dare Dana to go down there. So she goes down there to investigate, and there's just like a bunch of creepy stuff all around, so everyone goes behind her, and they all start like fooling around these objects. And Shaggy's just like, we should all go back upstairs, and no one listens. So he's like, I dare you all to go upstairs. And Dana finds this book and starts reading, and it's like this creepy shit.
And at the very end, she's like, there's this other part in Latin, and
Shaggy's just like, okay, I'm drawing a line in the sand here. Do not read that. And this scene is so funny, bro. I laugh every time. It never fails. It never fails. Because he's so serious. Like, I'm drawing a line in the sand. Stop. Don't read it. And then there's a whisper like, read it. And he's like, what the it's so good. Read it out loud. He's like, what is happening? He's the only one that's like conscious of what's going on. And obviously when she reads the Latin, she unleashes like the demons. And then we come back to the office workers who are celebrating that maintenance finally won, because they have like a board of all the monsters that could possibly be picked. So I'm guessing like when Chris Hemsworth had the ball, if he like played around with that, maybe he unleashed a werewolf, and the other girl was about to put like an amulet around her neck. Maybe she would unleash a witch. So like there's different possibilities, and they all bet on it. So which is a pretty cool, like, I don't know, it's pretty cool. Oh my god, I just put a joke 2 and 2 together. This is why you gotta watch movies multiple times, because you definitely miss things the first time around, second time around, you never know. But when they were like first placing their bets, and he's like, maintenance always puts like, you know, their money on the same thing every year. But then he laughs and he's like, look who's talking, Aquaman. And I never understood that joke until now, because when it's revealed that it's the zombie redneck torture family, he's all like upset. He's like, I'll never see a merman. And later on in the film, that little sentence is gonna have a payoff. By the way, I hate to interrupt the movie, but I want to tell you guys, I am gonna become active again on on my Patreon. The link is in the description below. And what you're gonna get with that is that I am gonna watch all these movies that I talk about, all the movies that I love personally, and you guys can see just the unedited raw footage of me reacting to these films. I will be drinking, I'll be doing other things. Wink. So for example, White Chicks review is coming up. I'm going to be doing a White Chicks commentary. So if you guys want, go sign up. It's going to be $3, mijo. It's cheaper. I see everyone putting like their Patreon at $5 as the cheapest. It's like, nah. $5 too much, but $3, bro. You watch like 3 or 4 movies a month with me, bro. 3 or 4 where we're just
having fun as
anyways, side note. So then one of the office workers is like, should we call Japan? Because remember earlier they talked about it's just us and Japan left. And it cuts to one of the screens where we see like a Japanese like school for little girls and this like demon entity with long black hair floating around terrorizing them. So you're starting to put 2 and 2 together right now. And when we cut back, we have the Daphne girl doing a sexy dance, which once again, I think this is the reference to Friday the 13th, the remake in 2009. Chris Hemsworth ends up pulling his girlfriend aside. And then Shaggy goes up to talk to the hot redhead and he's like, you seriously believe nothing weird is going on? And she's like, conspiracy? And he's like, just the way everyone is acting. Like, how all of a sudden is Jules suddenly a celebutard? Dude, I laughed so hard at that part every day. It's like, why is Jules suddenly acting like a celebutard? I guess you can get away with saying celebutard, right? Because it's not the R word. Don't jinx it. But then he does mention something important where he's like, since when does Kurt pull this alpha male bullshit? Because he's a sociology major and he's on full academic scholarship. And then you're like, whoa, he's not Fred. He's not the asshole jock type. Like, he's actually an intellectual. And the redhead's like, Kurt's drunk and you're really hot. He looks at his joint, it's like, what? And he's like, you guys are not seeing it. Anyways, the redhead goes back to the other guy and they start flirting as we see Chris Hemsworth and Daphne like run into the woods and they're gonna have like a little sexy time, which by the way, that is a very not fun place to do it in. Like in the middle of the woods, like in the dirt, and there's branches and it's like, no. Am I a little bit bougie? But anyways, the office workers are looking and they're waiting for it. And she's like, oh my gosh, not right now. And they show them how they influence the setting, right? Like they raise the temperature. They put some like pheromone like scents in there. So like they influence their decisions, but they can never actually force their decisions. I'm having the hiccups, man. I'm struggling. Anyways, they finally start taking their clothes off and you see boobies. I remember when I saw this movie because I was like 10 or 11 or I don't know, when did this movie come out? But I was super young boy and I remember seeing that, loving that scene. But then out of nowhere, she gets stabbed in the hand and it's like this zombie guy, and then he obviously starts fighting and tries to tackle it and he gets stabbed in the shoulder, bro. I don't know how he's still punching with force and takes it out, bro. This guy, he is Thor. He's literally Thor. He can stab Thor to death, bro. And they literally cut this girl's head off with a saw. And as soon as the girl dies, one of the office workers like flips a switch and it turns on this machine and you see this blood going into like this bowl and then it's like going down this like pattern of pathways. You're like, what the is going on? But you're kind of seeing like, oh, they're sacrificing someone and giving their blood. That's kind of what you're putting together. And then we cut to Shaggy, who's still smoking and reading a book called Little Nemo. By the way, I'm gonna do a video on Nemo. Nemo's one of my favorite Pixar movies ever, and he's all chill and comfortable, bro, just like, you know, cozy as a pothead would be. And then he's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. He's like, you should go for a walk. He's like, okay, I swear to God, someone's talking. Dude, that's how you get like, not anymore because I'm a seasoned pothead, but when you first start smoking or getting high and you're just, bro, you get paranoid as and it says it again, like, I'm gonna go for a walk. And he's like, all right, enough. It's like, what do you want? What are you saying? He's like, you think I'm a puppet? You think I'm gonna do a puppet dance, huh? It's like, I'm the boss of my own brain, okay? And then he's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. Oh my God. So it is affecting him too, or is he actually going on a walk on his own accord? The redhead and the other dude are making out and Shaggy walks by and he's like, he's got a husband bulge, which just totally ruins the moment. I'm just like, what does that even mean? So he goes outside to take a leak and then Chris Hemsworth comes out of nowhere. He's like, what the f? And he's like, run. And then they're running and he just decks this girl and he's like, what the f? And it's like this deadite, I guess. So everyone like goes inside the cabin, they lock the door, and then the big Texas Chainsaw motherfucker comes out of nowhere. He doesn't have a chainsaw, but he looks like a fucking Leatherface type dude. He's like big as shit. So Chris Hemsworth and the other dude and Shaggy both all try to close the door and they finally get it closed. And Chris Hemsworth's like, we gotta barricade every single door, and most importantly, we gotta stick together. And then the guys in the office are like, and he's like, just wait a minute. And they put those like scents that like make them act dumb, and he's like, wait a minute, this isn't right. we gotta split up. We can cover more ground that way. And the other guy's like, yeah, that's a good idea. This makes me think back to the scene where he's like,
They have to make their own decisions.
but if you have a drug or a chemical that can be a gas and influence their decisions that much, then I feel like they don't have that much free will. So it's kind of counterintuitive. And Shaggy, he's just like, and the guy's like, that sounds like a good idea. And then Shaggy's like, really? I love that. That was one of the things they put in the trailer that made me want to see this movie. That was so funny. And then one of the zombie people are trying to break in, so they all run into their rooms as Chris Hemsworth deals with it. And as Shaggy closes the window, he knocks over a lamp and he notices there's a hidden camera. And this shot of the camera upward to his face is so funny. He's like, what the f? And his eyes are like, it's so funny. And then the office people are like, oh my god, I need the chem department to just like dose this motherfucker up. And then he's like, wait. Judah Buckner to the rescue. And there's this like zombie girl that's like approaching. So he uncovers like the whole hidden camera thing and he's like, I'm on a reality TV show.
And he laughed and he's like, my parents are gonna think I'm such a burnout.
The pothead jokes are so funny. And then he gets attacked by the zombie and they have this whole little mini epic fight. And then the zombie like throws a knife to his back and drags him down a hole and you think he's dead. But we do see some of the blood spill out of the normal pathway and everything starts shaking. So the redhead and the other dude go down into the cellar and then she's like, this is the black room. From the diary, this is where he killed them. This is where he kills us. He's like, yo. He's not gonna kill us. And then 2 seconds later, he gets attacked with a bear trap on his back by the Texas Chainsaw dude. And she pulls him back down, which like yanks the dude down and then she like stabs a crowbar into him. But he snaps back to life and then she takes the knife and just stabs him to death. So they all run out of the house and the redhead's like, where's Marty? And Chris Hemsworth's like, they got him. And she's like, what the f? And then like they obviously all like dip in the RV. And we cut to see the girl that's like Samara in Japan is not scaring the girls anymore. They're like surrounded in a circle and they're like singing. And they defeated the demon, which apparently is very bad news. Because the guy's like, you. And then they see this screen where like all the cities have failed, which means it's kind of like up to USA to like save the world. It's always up to us, man. We're the big G's here. And the guy's like, what the hell is up with this guy's pot anyway? Which is a hint that he's still alive because the pot that he smokes is what's that's why he thinks normally. That's why he's the only one that has logic in this movie, because everyone's acting retarded. But one of the guys like, anyways, they're going towards the tunnel, so they're toast. And then he's like, oh my god, the tunnel's open. So this makes this whole sequence super tense because you're like, are they gonna make it out? They're not gonna make it out. But they end up blowing the tunnel, which blocks the passage. But Chris Hemsworth gets the idea to get the dirt bike and like motorcycle his way over the trench, I guess you would call it. She's gonna go over it, get help, come back. And dude, this scene is iconic. Even when I saw it the first time and I didn't like it, this scene made me laugh hardcore because like the moment is so well filmed. It really makes you believe like, okay, this is like a heartfelt moment. He's gonna risk his life to save the others, and it's like the music's playing and it's like, oh my god, it's inspirational. And he just rides right into the force field and just dies, bro. Thor, that's how Thor dies, bro. Like they don't give a So the last two get in the van and he's like, we just gotta stay calm. We can't panic right now. And as he's saying that, he gets stabbed in the neck. And the RV drives off the cliff and lands in the water. And the redhead girl does escape. But the Texas Chainsaw dude is there. And then he starts to attack her. And everybody in the office is celebrating because they think they have it done. And as everybody's celebrating, there's a phone call by this red phone. This is almost like Insidious with the red door. But he answers the phone and then he's like, everything was done right. The virgin's the last one. And then she's like, no, someone else survived. And it turns to the camera and you're like, out of nowhere, Shaggy comes to the rescue! This is such a badass scene. You would never think it. You thought he was dead, but he wasn't. Motherfucking Shaggy comes to the rescue. Wow, man, dude. Shaggy's the best. Anyways, they both start running and Shaggy shows her this like underground door that he found. And as they both go in, she's like, whoa, what is that? And he's like, oh, I had to dismember him with the trowel. But then he's like, I do know some stuff. And then he shows her there's this elevator. And it's like, somebody sent those dead up to us. And he's like, I think I can get this thing to go down. And she's like, do we want to go down? Which is a good question. I don't think I would want to go down. Even though it's hell up there, why would we want to go further into the madness? But he's like, where else are we going to go? So she's like, fuck it. And this entire next sequence is like seeing SCP brought to life in a movie, bro. If you guys don't know what SCP is, that is a rabbit hole that you can go down on YouTube, and it is a fun rabbit hole to go down. But SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. It's this secret government organization. Obviously it's not real. Well, is it? But they secure and contain these like anomalies, right? Like monsters and supernatural things, or these like godlike cosmic horrors, and they contain them to protect the world from those monsters. And I love SCP. I'm about to prove my love right here. I even have the SCP book, okay? I got it, bro. I love this shit. This shit is amazing. And I've always wanted to see SCP brought to life in a film, in a big screen movie event. I thought it would always been one of my favorite things that I've hoped for, and it never came to fruition. But this is the closest thing we got to it. The final moments in Cabin in the Woods is pretty much SCP brought to film. It is, bro. They're literally like in this elevator, and it shows them all these monsters that are trapped and contained in these like cells. And I love this because I'm a creature feature guy. Predator is my favorite movie of all time. I love Alien, The Thing. I love monster movies, so this was such a treat to watch. You see a werewolf, you see this like ghost entity, then there's this like little girl that's dressed up like a ballerina, and she has no face. It's just a mouth with teeth upon teeth. And this other dude has to be a reference to Pinhead, right? If you're a fan of Hellraiser, I should probably make a video on that movie, but Pinhead's so iconic. This had to be a reference to one of the Cenobites. It had to be. And then she gets all pissed off, and it zooms out, and you see just a plethora of monsters, brother. And that to me is SCP. That's what an SCP like facility would look like. SCP is a facility where they contain monsters and anomalies, which is exactly this. This is an SCP movie. And then the office guys are trying to deal with this whole situation. They're like, we can't take out the girl first. We got to take out the guy first. Otherwise, this whole thing goes to shit. But the elevator door opens, and there's a security guard, and he's like, just get out the girl, just the girl. And then the zombie attacks him, and then they just like push him into the wall, which kills him. Like, I don't know how that happened. But then they're just bloodied as hell going through this facility that they have no idea what's going on. And for me, the tension in this sequence is so good because it's literally like, what the hell? Where are we in a simulation? Like, what is happening? Like, where are we? And then they hear the SWAT team coming, so they hide in this like office room, and then the SWAT team starts shooting at them. Are you guys even ready for me to talk about this scene? Because you know what I'm about to talk about.
It's the most legendary scene ever.
I'm not talking about movie or story or acting performance wise, but in terms of pure awesomeness, like Kung Fu Panda says.
Enemies would go blind from overexposure to pure awesomeness.
This scene has very good merits to go in the top 3 movie scenes of all time, literally. This scene where she presses the red button and lets go of all the monsters, and the SWAT team is there, and then they hear the doorbell ring, ding, and he's like, oh shit, and then all the monsters come out. Dude, that scene is epic. It's pure awesomeness. Shafabui.
Shafabui!
Bro, this winged bat takes one guy, the giant snakes is people up, the ghost is like taking people, and there's just blood coming out of the elevator. Dude, it's insane. You see the werewolf just roar. One of the most badass scenes of all time. Dude, we're taking a drink. I might just down it, bro. That dude, for that scene, we have to cheers for that scene. Come on, even if you're not an alcoholic. And then we see like reinforcements come, and the whole room is just completely bloodied, and then the doorbell rings again, and then you just see more blood, and they're still trapped in there, and more monsters are coming out. This sequence just doesn't hold up, bro. It keeps coming and bro, the end. You know what I'm gonna say? I think this might be top 3 or maybe even top 3 movie endings ever. This ending is fantastic, bro. It's up there with Insidious. It's up there with The Blair Witch. It's up there with The Shine. Like, bro, it's awesome. I don't give a what anybody says. People can say it's campy, it's cheesy, it's over the top. This ending is perfect. That's what it is. So shut the up. So the winged bat creature breaks into the office that they were hiding in, so they're forced to get out. And now they're in the mayhem as well, as like creatures are just killing people along. You see this brightful clown, the unicorn? Brother, there's a unicorn! But the main 2 office workers are down, and then this line, remember how I said earlier about the Aquaman joke and all of that? He never seen a merman. This is where it pays off. He's down, and what kills him is a merman. He's like, oh, come on, man. I love that his last words before he dies are just like, oh, come on. Like, just Anyways, the redhead girl ends up killing the other office worker. And before he dies, he's like, please, kill him because he's trying to save the world. This is what I love about the movie, because both parties are correct. Both parties are right in their viewpoints, right? Because these kids have no idea what the hell is going on. So they're just like, I need to protect my friends. What the hell are these people trying to... What is happening, right? Like, you're just in self-defense mode. But the other people understand that, like, if they don't pull off this ritual, the whole world goes to shit. The ancient ones come. I might be spoiling it, but the ancient one comes and they everyone up, right? So they're trying to save the world. So both parties are correct, which makes it interesting. There's depth to it. How the fuck is there depth to Cabin in the Woods? Anyways, the redhead girl and Shaggy are the only two that are left, and they go down to this like lower level where they see like all these like cryptid ancient hieroglyphics, if you will, where like the blood was going. And then literally one of the biggest legends in sci-fi and in horror movies comes out. Sigourney motherfucking Weaver! What a great cameo. Just a cameo that really fits the movie. And then she kind of just spills the beans and explains everything that's going on. And she talks about the ritual that requires youth, and that there must be at least 5. The whore that dies first, the athlete, the scholar, the fool, and they all suffer and die at the hands of whatever horror they have raised, leaving the last one alive, the virgin, which is funny because she is not a virgin. She was her teacher or her professor. And then she's like, if you don't pull it off, they rise. And she's like, what do you mean they rise? The ancient ones, the gods that used to rule the earth. This is where the movie goes all out, and you're either with it or not, and I am with it, bro. This is so, I love it, bro. The ancient ones, it's like H.P. Lovecraft's The Elder Ones. Like, bro, it's like these titans that came before us. Oh, I love it. It's like mythology. Ah! And she's like, as long as they accept our sacrifice, they remain below. But the other rituals have all failed. The sun is coming up in 8 minutes. If you live to see it, the world will end. She's pretty much laying it out on her. And obviously, I'd be like, you, I don't believe you. I'm not gonna kill myself. And this is what I don't like, bro. The girl points the gun at him, bro. She folds, bro. She folds. But the werewolf attacks her, and she drops the gun, so he gets it, and then he kills the werewolf. Or he doesn't kill, but he scares off the werewolf by shooting it. Then him and Sigourney Weaver get into a fight, and then this dead-eyed girl with an axe kills her by chomping her freaking head, and then he pushes them both off into the lower level, and then he goes sits down next to the girl. And I hate it because it's like, that bitch, bro. She was about to kill me. Her, dude. Like, well, I'm not just gonna sit next to you now. But I do like the end where it's like they know they're because they didn't complete the ritual, so he just sits down and then they just talk and enjoy, you know, the last minutes of life that they have. Really, I mean, it's not to get deep or profound, but it's a cool moment. It's just like, what else are we gonna do? We're gonna panic? It's just like, let's just enjoy each other's company. And then that's exactly what they do. She's like, I'm sorry I shot you. Bull shit. So he lights up a joint. That's what I would do. I would light up a joint and just enjoy it. That's it. That's what dude, that's why I love him. Shaggy's the best. And then she smoked, dude. It's just such a great moment. It's so good. It's so perfect for the vibe of this movie. It's just, they really nailed it. So as he's smoking, when he's like, giant evil gods, and she's like, I wish I saw them. He's like, me too. That would have been kind of fun. And then they hold each other's hands, kind of like an intimate moment. I really like it. And then the ground erupts beneath them, and it's this giant hand from this god / titan, and the movie ends. The Cabin in the Woods. This movie's fantastic, man. This is so good. It's just, oh my god. For me, this is my Scream. This is my Scream. I'm sorry for you. You love Scream and you're so passionate about that movie, and that was the meta movie that were like, oh my gosh. For me, that's the experience I have with Cabin in the Woods. That was the movie that really made me fall in love with meta shit. That is, this movie's perfect. It's perfect. It's SCP. It's got
humor. It's got great acting. It's got references to classics like Evil Dead.
The elevator ding sing, like ding, and then like, dude, amazing. This movie, I love this movie. I'm so happy you guys voted at it as #1 because I wanted to rewatch it. I love rewatching this. It's one of the most rewatchable movies. That's one thing I can say. It's one of the most, I come back to this movie often. It's easy to watch. It's easy to digest. It's a genius movie. I'm not gonna hold back. Thank you for watching. Next up is probably going to be The Thing. I'm enjoying the out of spooky season. This has been amazing. We're gonna talk about a couple more scary movies. Halloween Day, I got a special video for you guys. And then November, you guys know White Chicks is coming. Scooby-Doo 2. Oh, you got good content coming up. Subscribe. Peace. Oh my god, I should do like a live stream where I just play SCP Containment Breach. Let me know if you want to see that.